In this lesson, we're going to talk about zero pairs. Subtracting integers. Just a quick recall about zero pairs. We're talking about subtraction, but before we get into subtracting integers, talk about a quick reminder of zero pairs. Remember, we have a positive and a negative. That equates to nothing. It's a zero pair. Okay, just a reminder of what zero pairs are quickly as we go into subtracting of integers. Okay, so review your adding integers if you forgot what zero pairs are. Subtracting integers. Let's look at example number 1 here. So for subtracting integers, if I have 3 minus 2 or positive 3 minus 2, what does that mean? First of all, let's represent the first number. Okay, so we're going to deal with this. Okay, for subtraction, let's look at some rules. This one first, you're going to only represent the first number. Only represent the first number. And I'm using the pound sign for number. So let's only represent the first number here with the positive 3. So positive 3 is 1, 2, 3. And it says minus or take out, remove, subtract what or take out what? 2 positives. So let's take out 2 positives. Are there 2 positives to take out? Yes. There's 1, there's 2. Okay? The final answer should be in the same charge, and it is. What's left? A positive 1. Right? So, the second thing is to take off or take out, in other words, subtract the second number. And we did that here. So it says to represent the first, step 1, represent the first number. We did 3 positives, and then it says take off 2 positives, and we did. So there they are, 2 positives gone. Final answer should be in 1 charge. Okay, and it is positive 1. Example 2, that one should be easy. It says -5 minus a -4. First rule, only represent the first number. So I want to represent the -5. Represent the -5, I have -1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and the second part of this, step 2, take out or subtract the second number. All right, so we represented step 1, the first number, which is the -5. We have -5, and it says the subtraction sign means to take out or remove. Remove or subtract or take out what? 4 negatives. We're taking out 4 negatives. Do we have 4 negatives to take out? Sure we do. There's 1 gone, 2 gone, 3 gone, 4 gone. Final answer should be in 1 charge. Is our final answer in 1 charge? It is. It's -1. So -5 minus a -4 is a -1. All right, example number 3. Example 3 says -5 minus a positive 4. So again, what's the first rule? We're going to first only represent the first number. So here we are, represent the -5. Here we are. -1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Step 2. Step 2 again, take out or subtract the second number. Subtracting the second number, it says minus or take out or subtract 4 positives. Do we have 4 positives to take out? The answer is no. We do not have 4 positives to take out. So, this is where we get into doing a little bit more. We cannot take out 4 positives because there's not 4 positives to take. So we have to create the possibility with zero pairs. We talked about zero pairs meaning nothing. So let's add a few zero pairs. Okay, so here's a zero pair. Actually, I'll go this way here. Here's our first zero pair. How much is this worth? Nothing. Okay, can I now take out 4 positives? No. I can only take out 1. So let's add another zero pair. Have I changed this problem? No. I have 2 zero pairs though. Let's add a total of 4 zero pairs. Why am I doing 4 zero pairs? Remember, this means I'm creating the possibility of being able to take out 4 positives. So I represented the 5 negatives. Subtract positive 4, I didn't have it. So I created the possibility of being able to take out 4 positive by making 4 zero pairs. Now, can I take out 4 positive? Yes, I can, because I did 0 pairs. There's 1 positive gone, 2, 3, 4 positives gone. My final answer should be all in one charge, and it is. My final answer is negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So negative 5 minus a positive 4 is a negative 9. So step 1, represent the first number. Step 2, take out the second number or subtract the second number. Well, what happens when it's a problem like this and we can't take off 4 positives? We created the possibility by making 0 pairs. Possibility with 0 pairs. And then finally, or fourth, final answer should be in the same charge. All right. So let's look at example number 4. Positive 6 minus a negative 2. Step 1 is to represent the first number. Only represent the first number. Here I am representing 6 positives. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it says second step is to take out the second number. So we're going to subtract 2 negative 2s. Well, I can't take out 2 negative 2s. They aren't there. There's no 2 negatives. So what's the third step? When they're not there, I'm going to create the possibilities. This is a start because sometimes you won't need to do this third step. Create the possibilities with the 0 pair. So let's add a few 0 pairs. If I add 1 0 pair, can I take out 2 negatives now that I created the 1 0 pair? The answer is no. I can only take out 1. So I need 1 more 0 pair. Have I changed the problem? No, it's still a 0 pair. Okay. Now I've created the possibility of being able to take out 2 negatives. Can I take out 2 negatives now? Yes. 1, 2 negatives are gone. Fourth and final step, your final answer should be in the same charge. Is my final answer now in the same charge? The answer is yes. Here they all are. They're all positives. This is a positive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So positive 6 minus a negative 2 is equal to a positive 8. Next problem. Let's look at example number 5. I have a positive 3 minus a negative 5. What's the first step? First step is to represent the first number. So I need 3 positives. Second step, take out or subtract 5 negatives. Do I have that? No. Okay, so I'm going to create, the third step is to create the possibility with a 0 pair. Okay, so I'm going to make 5 0 pairs to be able to take out 5 negatives. There's 1 0 pair, here's 2 0 pairs, 3, 4, and then there's 5. Now I go back and say positive 3 was represented. Can I take out 5 negatives? I can now because I've created 5 0 pairs. So let's take the 5, subtract the 5 negatives. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the fourth thing is your final answer should be in the same charge. And they're all positive. And my final answer is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 positives. So positive 3 minus a negative 8 is a positive 8. Finally, example number 6. Negative 2 minus a negative 5. Represent the first number. 1, 2. And it says to take off 5 negatives. Do I have 5 negatives to take off? No, I only have 2. So how many 0 pairs do I need to be able to take off 5 negatives? I only need 3 0 pairs this time. So I'm going to make 1 0 pair, 2 0 pairs, 3 0 pairs. And now can I take off 5 negatives? Yes. So here we are, I'm taking off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 negatives. And the final answer should be in the same charge. They are. I'm left with 3 positives. So negative 2 minus a negative 5 is equal to a positive 3. Well, again, like on the last adding integers, I really don't want to deal with having to make all these charges. That's a lot of work and a lot of time. For example, if somebody says a negative 356 minus a negative 1,451, I'm not going to make a bunch of negatives and positives. That's a lot of work. So there's a shortcut. What's the shortcut? Really simple. When you're subtracting integers, all you're going to do is change it to an addition problem and change the charge of the second number. So here it is. In green, I'm going to use to show you the change. So I have a positive 3 minus a positive 2. What's the rule? When I'm subtracting integers, I'm going to change it to an addition problem, and I'm going to change the charge of the second number to the opposite. So it went from positive to negative. The final rule is to follow the rules for adding integers. If I'm adding integers that have different charges, remember we subtracted. Okay? 3 minus 2 is going to be a 1. Let's see. There's going to be a 1 here. And what's the charge of the 1? Remember, it's the charge of the bigger number. 3 is larger than a 2, so it's going to be a positive 1. Okay? Here it is again. What's the rule for subtracting integers? All I'm going to do is take and do this as negative 5 minus the negative 4. The rule for subtracting integers, number 1, change it from a subtraction problem to addition. Then change the charge of the second number to its opposite. If it was negative, it becomes positive. The third and final rule is follow the rules for adding integers. I'm adding integers that have different charges of negative and positive. What do we do when we had different charges? We subtracted. 5 minus 4 is going to simply be 1. Is that 1 negative or positive? Well, 5 is larger than the 4, so it's a negative 1. And that's what we got when we did it using the charges. Okay, here we are again. Next example. Again, I don't want to use all these negatives and positives, doing all the charges and such. So what's the rule? Negative 5 minus a positive 4. The rule for subtracting integers is simple. Change it from a subtraction problem to an addition problem. Then change the charge of the second number to this opposite. So if it was positive, it becomes negative. I'm going to take that negative out, positive out, and make it negative, excuse me. Now I'm going to follow the rules for adding integers. What do we do when we're adding integers that have the same charge? If they have the same charge, we just add them. 5 plus 4 is going to be 9. What's the 9 is going to be negative because both of these are negative. Next item of business. Here's the next one. Positive 6 minus the negative 2. What's the rule for subtracting integers? I'm going to change it from a subtraction problem to addition. And I want to change the charge of the second number to this opposite. It was negative, so it becomes positive. What was the rule when we added integers with the same charge? We just added. 6 plus 2 is going to be 8. And what's the 8 going to be? Both are positive, so it's a positive 8. And that's exactly what we got when we did it the other way. All right, next one. The last two. Positive 3 minus a negative 5. What happens when we're subtracting integers? We want to change it from subtraction to addition, change the charge to the opposite. It was negative, it becomes positive 5. Now I'm looking at the charges. They're the same. What was the rule when we added integers? I follow the rules for adding integers. 3 plus 5 is going to be an 8. And my 8 is positive because both the numbers are positive. And that's exactly what we got when we did all these charges here. Finally, negative 2 minus the negative 5. Okay, what's the rule for subtracting integers? All I'm doing is changing it to an addition problem. I'm going to change the charge of the second number to the opposite. It was negative, so it becomes positive. Then I step back and look at it and say, oh, what was the rule for adding integers? Adding integers, when they have different charges, I just subtract it. 5 minus 2, remember, it doesn't matter if there's 5 in the back. I just say 5 minus 2, which is 3. And is that 3 positive or negative? It's positive because 5 is larger than the 2, excuse me. And that's exactly what we got here. All right, so here are the rules quickly. All right, so this is the part we're looking at down here. When subtracting integers, first thing we change it to an addition problem. We did that on all of them here. Okay. We changed it from subtraction to addition. There's the first rule. Change it to an addition problem. The second is we change the sign of the second number to its opposite. We did that as well. We changed the charge of the second number to its opposite. This was negative, it became positive. This one was negative, it became positive. On the other one, if it was positive, it became negative. All right? So step 1, change it to an addition problem. Step 2, change the charge of the second sign to its opposite. The third rule, all we're going to use the rules for adding integers. If you're adding integers with the same charge, you just add them. They have opposite, you subtract them and use the charge of the larger number. Go back to the rules for adding integers if you've forgotten.